beautiful friends. Hello, beautiful friends, lovers, witches, fairies, unicorns, however, cats, however you define your energies. Welcome. I've missed you guys so much. It has been a hot minute since I did a newsletter, and I think we all know why. I think the last one I did was middle of December, and that's pretty much, I was in the middle of, I was post-surgery, and yeah, that was interesting. And then 2020 hit, and I think a lot of us were like, what happened to the year of like awesome things and new beginnings? And it's like, oh my gosh. And we'll get to that in a minute. I'll share some things that are happening with me. And then we'll get into just kind of the energies of what's happening. Now, you'll notice that I kind of will, parts of me will begin to disappear and appear. I'm using a virtual background, and the shirt, it gets confused because there's no solid lines of where the color ends. It's like this ongoing stripe. So if you're wondering why I'm, I don't have the cloak of invisibility, which God knows I wish I did. And it's just a virtual background. But look at my trees. Don't you love them? When I was thinking about backgrounds and what I wanted them to be, and a lot of the practice and the healing work that I do, we begin in that sacred heart space, which is behind our little literal heart. And my heart space is always the forest at dusk. There's a campfire, there's a clearing in the forest, and that is always my sacred space. And what better to broadcast from and emit this love that I feel for all of you from than my sacred space, which is my forest. So I bring you my heart space. And even in real life, trees, the forests, they fill me with something. I hug trees constantly. Whenever I see a really great tree, I go hug it, and the energy that it gives you straight to your heart is just magnificent. And I know some of you know what I mean, and some of you may think that I've lost my mind, but that's okay too. Who knows if I've ever really had my mind, right? So I have not been consistent in hosting. I have not been consistent in sharing with you all. I have not been consistent in anything. And I think that that's because I'm in this weird space, because I'm really growing as a human, and I'm really growing into what it is I want to share with the world. And that terrifies my brain. And so what my brain does when I'm really making steps forward, and this is any of us, my brain decides to start playing those old tapes of, oh, you're not worthy enough. Who are you to do this? And who are you? Are you really a healer? Really? You connect with the angels? Really? And it begins to, this process of shutting me down. And I become quicker at noticing what it's doing. So I can step back into neutral, into observer mode, and look at it and go, it's interesting. Wonder why that's showing up. And so I've really been trying to work this out, because I'm preparing a foundation of creating something that I want to allow it to be as big as it's willing to be, as big as what the universe has for me, what's there for me. A lot of you know that I've been working with the Healing Angel Protocol for, 2 years now. It has worked wonders. It has given me such an avenue, such a place of knowing, such a place of confidence, a place of understanding, a place of knowing how I'm going to help my clients and myself. Many of you know this already, but to share with those who don't, I have put my rheumatoid arthritis in remission, something that's been unachievable until I started working with the Healing Angel Protocol. And it's been that way since October of last year. I don't have the symptoms. I still have the symptoms of the physical damage that it's done to my body, like the bone deterioration, stuff like that. But the disease itself is inactive. It doesn't show up on my blood work. It's dormant, whatever. I've been on a very long path. I've had this diagnosed in 2007, and it's now what, 2020? So, and 2019, so that's what, 12 years I went through this process. And there's a couple of things I want to say about it. Everything that happens in our life, we've either manifested in some way, and it's always here to teach us something. It's here to give us something, whether it's a lesson or whether it's to change our course in life. And it did change my course. There was times, and I still have moments where I'm frustrated because of the physical manifestations of the disease. And there are times I'm like, why me, why me? But it stopped me in my tracks, basically, because I was headed down to burnout town. I was working 80 hours a week. I wasn't listening to my body. I wasn't getting the rest I needed. I slept 4 hours a night. I was trying to seek something that I thought would make me feel fulfilled, and which was money, working so hard. But really what it was doing was it was distracting me from my pain that I was feeling. I was looking for the approval from certain family members in my life. I was looking for that feeling of accomplishment, and I never could find it. I never was getting it. And I feel the emotions that I had, the self-criticism, the constant negative self-talk, the constant idea that, oh, you're not working hard enough, you're not doing this. That's all emotional. That's the emotional triggers for rheumatoid arthritis. And I was going pretty hard on myself. And so in all of that combination, I manifested the rheumatoid arthritis. And what did it give me? You're like, how could it have been positive? Well, first of all, it stopped me from working so much. It took me out for about a year. And when I went back to work, I had to learn. I had to learn patience for me. I had to learn patience for whatever I did, because everything was just so much slower. Walking was slower, and then it led to joint replacements and a whole bunch of other different things. So there was a lot of challenges along the way. However, had I not had it, had I not moved to Harrisburg, had I not done all of the things that led me to having that first healing, that first Reiki healing, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. It has taught me so much. It has given me the bandwidth to stop dating so that I could take care of me. It was always my excuse for saying no when I wanted to say no, but I didn't feel I could, or I felt like I was disappointing somebody. I had a physical reason. There was a lot that it gave me, because without it, I wouldn't be here. And while, yeah, needing joint replacements, and that doesn't seem so great, but it's giving me a new lease on life. It's giving me more life, more understanding, more empathy. It's kept me on my spiritual path. It was the catalyst to change my life. Now, do I still have workaholic tendencies? Oh, you better believe it, my friends. I do. However, it's gotten so much better, and I can control it. I can say, oh, you know what? No, this isn't serving me, because all it's going to do is make me tired, and I'm just chasing something that I need to look at myself emotionally to see what I'm not being fulfilled, or I'm not fulfilling for myself, and to correct that, so I don't need the feeling of needing to work overtime. It's also brought me here to opening up the idea that, oh gosh, I can be successful outside of a 9-to-5 job. And to me, that is just, it was worth 12 years of whatever I experienced. And there is a certain point in that journey of a physical or emotional or whatever it is, where you're like, you know what? Now this is holding me back. I'm ready to move forward. I see what it's done. I see its blessings. I'm grateful for it, but I'm ready to let it go, because I'm ready to step forward into the life that I've been creating. And this is now preventing me from doing that. And that's when I made the decisions with the angels. I said, angels, look, I don't need this anymore. I get it. I get what I need to do. I get what I need to move forward into. And they heard me. And I had sessions, and I'm on session 7. They said 10, but after 3, it was gone. But I'm going to continue, because they had recommended 10 different sessions. But I was ready. I was emotionally ready. I did the emotional work to heal the things that I manifested it with. Now, are they gone forever? No, they're still there. Our 3D body is the densest part of us. So even though energetically, spiritually, we're making changes, and even it's reflected in the physical biochemistry, our brain and our 3D being is the densest part of us. So there's still going to be those remnants that show up, like a couple weeks ago for me, that I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And I know what it is before it takes hold. So I can step back and manage it, or understand it and say, why did this show up? What fear is triggering my brain to go into self-recrimination or self-flagellation? So, because it's always fear. Whenever we attack ourselves, it's afraid of something. That's where we start to try to dismantle some of that self-talk. I digress. So after surgery, I went back to work. There was familial things that's happening. Many of you know that, oh my gosh, I'm still like kind of not okay with, but it is what it is, I LLC'd my business. I am now Grace of Sedona LLC. You'll see a lot of that coming in the near future. As if some of you have tried to access my original website, which is amyhedman.com, it no longer exists. So what I did is because of Grace Sedona and Grace of Sedona, I bought the URLs, and I went with a different hosting company to really maximize my SEO tools and all that stuff, the website stuff, and I transferred my old Amy Hedman over to my new, because that way, if anybody has any of those the website addresses, they'll get to the same place. And so because I switched it over, it shut my old one down, so I have no website to speak of. Oh gosh. So I'm like, okay. And then I found resistance in creating my new website. Of course I did. That was going to happen. But my goal is in the month of May, especially next weekend. We have a 4-day weekend. I'm so excited. I'm really looking forward to having it done, or at least as done as it needs to be functional. It's forever changing, as we all are. And so that's if you've tried to access it, that's why it's not there. And oh, one of the things that I'm creating is a new mini course. Is I've always worked, my gateway to the healing process was the chakras on a very basic level. And I'm not talking, there's so many interpretations of the chakras. There's so many people that are like, you're teaching it wrong. It's not that way. And I don't want to get into that. But my love of working with the angels and the fact that our chakras have so much information in them. It's like a 7-week course, 7-8 week course, and it's a mini course. It's just a teaching you how to get in touch with each one. You know, say for example, if you're having your what symptoms can come if there's information there or it's being activated, or and I'm not talking about balancing because your chakras are not made for balancing. There's information there that is for us to know what's happening, what's happening, where do we get derailed, where does it, like I have a super, my root chakra is very, the energy is very low. It's generally never balanced. It's never spinning the right way. I have a lot of foundational problems, which is why I was struggling so much getting my business off the ground. So it's teaching us how to go into that chakra, and and bringing in an angel or a guide. It doesn't have to be an angel if you don't work with angels. It can be a guide, and bringing that guide in and saying and helping you decipher what is there, what information is there to tell you about your path, about your life, about what some things, maybe there's some cords that need to be cut within that chakra, maybe there's some lines of attachment coming from you to other people. Like for the root chakra, maybe there was some familial issues, the pelvic area, or you don't feel supported in life, which is a huge one for me. That was my biggest thing, was I didn't feel supported. So hello, red chakra. So, it has all this information. And what we do with the information is, first we ask the angels to help us heal it. Second, we ask them to, or we can take these understandings of ourselves. Like I know foundationally, I feel the lack of support. So when I have support, when I have people who support me, I make it a point to remind myself to focus, to see that support and recognize it. And so I can say, I'm like, we are very supported. And so in seeing, to contradict the message, the brain message that has created that chakra to go dim. So it's a little bit more complex in what I'm saying, but it's really not. It's super simple, it's super easy, and it's just a place to start to get information about who you are, maybe why you have been trying to create a business, or you're trying to whatever you're trying to achieve, and why is it getting derailed. Maybe that information is stored in your chakras. Chances are it is. So that's what I'm in the middle of creating, and hopefully that'll be out soon. And it's just a once a week class for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, and it's just going through each chakra and just learning how to get there, learning how to call in a guide or an angel or assistance, and just hearing and seeing what's there, learning to listen to what it has to say, what the visuals are. We'll get you there through visual meditation, and then give you time to take a look around that chakra and see what's there. Like foundationally, does your foundation of your red chakra, does it have bricks missing? Does it have pieces missing? Is there places where you can shore that up, where you can have understanding? And the more that we have understanding of who we are and how we work, the more that we can use it to lead us to healing, to changing, to shifting that. because while we don't need to balance our chakras, once we have understanding of their issues or what's there, we can heal that part of it so that it isn't an issue within that energy field. It's okay if you don't understand. Just allow it to be what it is. But I am truly excited to bring the angels into that type of work, because I just feel that it's sometimes the best way to get our messages. What else is going on? I don't know how consistent I'll be with newsletters. I am going to begin to try to get on that train, so to speak, to reinvest in doing them. I need to change them up a bit so they're not so long and kind of like drawn out, because I know a lot of you people don't have a lot of time. So that's what I'm trying to do. I have a new family member, and I say that because her tail is going to just come wafting by in just 1 second. Here she is. Say hi. That's my baby girl. She is a new family member, and if you give me 1 second, she was wanting the milk out of my cereal bowl. Here you go, Mama. Sorry. You're all right. She's a little skittish still. She was a stray. I adopted her about 4 weeks ago, a month now. She is the funniest thing. Oh, she brings me so much joy and laughter, and I realize how much I've missed that. And I will tell you though, after having such a magical and deep connection with my former cat TJ, Queen TJ, as many of you know, because I've shared enough pictures on Facebook to make you guys go, again, really? At first I felt very disloyal, and I felt very like I was betraying her memory. Like I had to live in constant grief for her, which it took me a very long time. It's been 4 years. So it's taken me a very long time to get into that space of allowing that possibility to have another cat. And I was in a meditation that one day, and I kind of put it out there to the angels in the universe, and I'm like, am I being disloyal? And I could just hear TJ say, I sent it to you, dummy. She's like, I sent her to you. Would you stop it? So then I was like, all right, get over yourself. It's okay. But she is a light, even if she does wake me up every single time, like 4 a.m., just because she's hungry. She's a toddler in cat form, but she's wonderful, and I love her, and I love that I made that choice to do that. She brings so much to my life that I didn't realize was missing. Huge amounts. So, okay, so where was I going? I'm also going to be offering group healings each month it's for 30 minutes, and it's going to be less than half of what I charge per hour. So it'll be about $40. And I may have a set time. I may change it depending on if you guys feel, hey, can you do it in the evening for the West Coast people, and then and during or in the morning, afternoon for the East Coast, because we are 3 hours difference now. I'm going to play with the times. If you would love to participate and want a specific time, reply to the email, please. I will create a link for that, and I want to create that to be a constant, something that's going forward, a forever thing, because I think we could all even just 30 minutes, the healing that comes through is so profound. So yeah, I'm excited to start that, and I'm hoping, I need to finish my website, and I'm hoping to begin to regularly post, share with you what I offer, share with you what I know, share any messages, do a little few lives more. See, my shoulder keeps going in and out. I think this is just amusing, just watching this virtual background and what it does and how it reacts to my shirt, because it's my shirt. Oh my God. Anyways, what else is happening? Nothing to speak of. Nothing I can think of that I want to share at the moment. But let's get to messages. So I know this year has been really challenging for a lot of us. It's been it started off rough, and then March came in with the pandemic, and it has created so much unknown for so many different people, especially those who don't have a job, especially those who have family members who are affected or who have lost family members. That's the most tragic of all. There is so much heaviness to what's happening this year. And I think a lot of us were like, WTF, I thought 2020 was supposed to be the year. But part of me feels that we've been resistant in doing the work that we needed to do in order to step into what 2020 was going to bring us. And we've really been given this giant pause. Now, I know it's hard to see the light despite the tragedy, but we need to. We need to look at us. We need to look inward. We need to look at where we're at. Because sometimes when we focus so much about what's happening outside of us, we forget to look at where we're at what we have, at what we're doing. We just live in that grief and sadness for the world, which is not wrong, but we can't stay there forever. We can't live in that, because the longer you stay there, the harder it is to come out of it. Now, it's not easy. I'm not saying that, oh, you need to just stop. You know, it's not simple. It's not easy. But the more that we begin to focus on other things, whether it's ourselves, what we want to create, the lives we want to create, you know, we begin to shift that grief, shift it, and to use it to fuel something that is beautiful. And I think that's how we can take the sadness, depression, grief, the trauma that is happening right now, and we see and witness and fuel it into something that can be beautiful, so that the pain and suffering of others aren't in vain. And whether it's you become an activist for a certain group, or whether you see, oh, you know what, I'm going to start to donate regularly to this nonprofit that helps underprivileged people, or I need to be supportive of this group of people because they're being really impacted. Whether you find that connection in that way, as well as going internal. We've been given a great pause. I mean, I'm still working from home, so I'm very fortunate in that, but some are not. So why not take a moment and say, what kind of life do I want to create? What kind of environment do I want to live in? Many of us are looking at our physical homes and like, oh, I don't like it. I need to rearrange my furniture. I did that. I bought a new couch. Because I was like, you know what? I've always wanted a couch that had a sleeper sofa, so that I have many guests frequently, and the poor air mattress has had its day, and I'm like, I want them to be comfortable. So I bought a sofa with a pull-up bed with a memory foam mattress that is amazing. I just took a nap on it last week. this past Friday. It was great. Had to test it out. So and it's not just about the physical environment, it's about our internal environment as well. You know, are you kind and compassionate with yourself? Do you have old tapes that are running that your brain kind of starts using when it's afraid? Are there things that you want to shift or heal? Is there a business you want to grow or begin to grow or begin to define what that is? You know, we're given this time, and that's, if we start to focus on what we want to create and who we want to support, it begins to shift that grief and that depression a little bit and move it forward to something productive. And I'm not taking away the tragedy and the trauma that some people are facing. I feel that to my bones every day. That's why I can't watch the news. I can't witness a lot because it takes me out and I get very depressed. And so I've limited my screen time. I've limited my Facebook time. I've limited, you know, I don't watch the news at all. I can't, because it's for my own well-being. So yeah, so just food for thought. You know, what kind of life do you want to create outside of this? We all talk about going back to the norm. The norm was broken, man. What life was before this, the system is broken. You know, everybody's like, oh, the system doesn't work. The system is working just fine for the people who are rich. You know, the corporations, you know, they're just fine. Thank you. The system was working for them great. But it's not working for the people who are underprivileged, the people who don't have the resources or that live in a state of poverty, and, you know, and the government thinks throwing us a stimulus check is going to solve our problems, and it's not. So find out where you can champion people and where you can support in your own way. It doesn't even have to be monetarily, but it can be in just sharing their message, sharing what they have to say, and sharing what it is that, you know, that you feel is important for everyone to hear. Like for me, I signed up for this class, the Everybody's Body Project, the Everybody Project. Sorry, it's a tongue twister, and I signed up for that course to become certified, and that talks about our body image, our relationship with our physical being. And have I finished it? No. I have gotten caught up in a lot of other things. So that's my goal this year, by the end of this year, is to finish that course. So I can become certified in holding meetings or classes or workshops around our relationship with our physical being, because that's really powerful right now. Venus is in retrograde, so Venus is going to bring up all of that stuff. So if you feel you're feeling a little like judgmental or judgy, or you're rejecting your physical self, or your physical self is talking to you, like today I woke up very nauseous, had half a headache, and I don't feel that way when I wake up, ever. I usually feel good. I feel rested. I feel like, oh yeah, I got this day. It isn't until later if I begin to not feel well. And I just was like, what am I rejecting? What is the physical rejection here? So yeah, those are my 10 cents about what's happening in the world. And I want to know how you are doing. I truly do. You know, respond to the email and let me know what's happening in your life. How are you coping? Where can I help? If there are things that you wish that I would offer, or things that you wish that I could give, what is that? Share it with me. Let me know what that is so I can create it, so I can see what I can do to offer my light in that situation. I'm happy to do that. I am facilitating the Healing Angel Protocol courses. So if you're like, oh, I wonder what that is, and you want to take level 1, you want to see what the course is. So of course I don't have a website, but if you go to the healingangelprotocol.com, there's all the information you would ever need. What it is, the courses, We just finished a kind of a masterclass called Shift Your Gifts, and that was helping, people with hot seat questions, and helping show them what they can do and how they can achieve, going through the opening, the healing, and then the activation, because we have to open to what's there, heal what we find or what's ready to be healed, and then move forward into the activation to step into our highest life, our highest self, and the highest good for what our life should be. So if you are interested in that, I'm starting a new class up this weekend, and this weekend, well, actually this weekend coming up, 4-day weekend. So if that's something that you're interested in, you're not sure, you want to contact me, just send me an email. I will, as I start new classes, I will begin to start to talk about it more on my social media, promote it more. I just wasn't prepared. I'm just not prepared. And that's okay. It is what it is. It's just where I'm at. And that's okay. I need to accept that and allow whatever's happening to happen. But Healing Angel Protocol changed me, changed my life, changed so many lives, and has really helped a lot of people step into their true light. And that's the whole point of it, is to be able to let your light shine despite everything. So beautiful, wonderful friends. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how you're coping. I won't belabor on this one. I'm going to create some links on where to sign up for the group healing. I really feel that maybe the month of May, I'm, just because of what we're all going through, I would love to offer it to you complimentary this month. And then each month after will be $40 for 30 minutes. And believe me, it's worth it. I just did one with the whole group yesterday, and it was amazing. And the angels that come in, they bring a lot of beautiful energy. And even though you're in a group, trust me, it will apply. It does work. So if you're interested, I'm going to send a link to register in Zoom. Register for that. Let me know if you guys need anything, if there's something specific you want me to create, something specific, a meditation, or you want me to have a workshop or a group session, whatever it is you need. You just let me know what you may feel you want, and then we'll see what we can do to create it. I love you all so very much, and I'm sending so much healing and love and light to all of you, to whatever your circumstance is right now. And like I said, if you need me or need something, please, you know how to contact me. You can just reply to this email. You don't have to send a new email. Just reply, and it'll be perfect. But just remember that if you see Grace of Sedona or Grace Sedona, it is me. It is me. It's not some other company that's got your email address. It's me, because that's how I will be presenting from, and that will be the business name I'm presenting from. So, okay. Lots of love to you all. Take care. Be kind to each other. Be kind to yourself, and know that you are loved. You're right where you need to be, for whatever that's worth. Take care, everybody. See you next month, and hopefully we'll see you next weekend in the healing.